Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we're going for a ride and a chat. And I just realized I forgot my wedding ring. Oh well. So kind of what I really wanted to talk to you about is kind of really been on my mind as we get closer to Mother's Day. There are a lot of people out there talking about like buying gifts from your mom and doing this for your mom and flowers and this and that, and almost like every commercial seems to be like about mom and doing something great for mom. And I'm not saying there's not anything wrong with that. I'm just saying I think one of the extra special gifts that our parents give us, especially our moms, is kind of that mom advice. So what is the mom advice that just like resonates with you? Kind of like when you hear it, you're like, yep, that's my mom. She would have said that. Or yes, exactly the way my mom told me. And so I think that's kind of one of the interesting, fun parts, is to really think about the knowledge and the wisdom that your mom shared with you. I think that is just invaluable. Yes, there are amazing things that our moms has done for us. There are amazing things and assets that they have taught us over our lifetime, because that's kind of what moms do. Kind of like that's their number one job, is to teach us like interesting, crazy things. And I think that's the part where we kind of like don't always like realize when we're young like how important that message was, how important that message of, you know, do this first, or pay your rent first before you go play, or whatever it is, like some of those valuable lessons. Now for me, my mom and I really didn't talk about things like that too much, but I will tell you there are still some things that my mom taught me that were kind of really interesting. And one of them was kind of like, no matter what, make sure your house is clean. My mom was a stickler for a clean house. She really, I mean, it's one of those, when someone told her cleanliness is next to godliness, she took it to heart. She loved a clean house all the time. Now, I don't think she necessarily liked to clean, but she liked when her house was clean. I'll just tell you that one. Kind of one of the things that I have picked up from my mom was kind of one of those, my mom always had this sense of style. Now, when I was a kid, I was kind of like, you're putting that together? But I realize now, like, she was really kind of expressing her own personality. But as a child, it was kind of like, Mom, why? She would put an outfit on that I would be like, okay, this looks good, we can handle it. And then she would wear this outlandish, like, scarf or belt or something else. And you're just like, okay, I was with it until then. Now I'm like, what? I don't know. And I think that's kind of the interesting, fun part about it, is like I realize now that was like her crazy personality kind of coming out, her little sense of adventure, her little like pop of color or whatever it is. Like she loved that part. And I realize now what it was. At the time I'm like, no. One of the other things that my mom taught me was kind of always, she always held her head up. No matter what was going on, what was around her, who was around her, she always had this sense of like confidence. And I've realized over the years, when I was a kid, I realized like, wow, this lady's like really confident. But I realized over the years that she really wasn't as confident, but she played it off really well. So a lot of times she came off as like very confident, self-assuring, you know, like I've got this. And behind the scenes, she didn't. And I think that's one of those interesting things. It's like, you know, make sure that you are showing your confidence when you're out and about. If everything is going crazy, yes, it's one of those, it's okay to feel a little frustrated, but she never really let it show when she was outside in public. And that was one of those like, interesting stories. So I think one of the last things that I will say is, one of the things that my mom really taught me is like your outward appearance, your, I don't know how to put that in words. I'm kind of like, what you show to everybody else is just as important as who you are on the inside. Now, I do believe my mom always didn't do this as well as she could have or should have, but it's one of those, like, one of the things that my mom did pretty confidently is when she was out and about, she had this confidence about her that she knew what was going on, she understood. And I think that's part of the crazy fun part about my mom is she always, like, whatever was going on, if someone got injured or something else. Now, part of this could have been because she was an RN, but I will tell you, kind of the fun part is, like, no matter what was going on, she always had this confidence of, like, no matter what's going on, I can deal with it. I had a friend that came over and they hurt their finger. We thought they had broken it at the time, and come in and show it to my mom, and she was like, nah, it's not a big deal. And you're just like, okay. But that was the fun part about my mom, is like, she always had this, like, interesting confidence of she could deal with any situation. Kind of the medical side of it, kind of like, whatever you throw at me, I've got this covered. And I think that's kind of the fun, quirky part about my mom, is that she never really got too upset over anything. She's like, medical issues, go into labor, not a problem, break your leg, we got this covered. And that was the kind of the, like, okay, where most moms would be like, what's happening? She had it going on. And that was the fun, quirky part about my mom, of just having that interesting confidence, no matter what was going on, and finding that kind of like that, usually that weird solution to things. So it's kind of like, interesting. I'm not sure always how I have that covered, but sometimes I think that's the interesting part about it, is kind of like, yeah, what are those messages that your mom conveyed to you, and sometimes didn't always convey to you in words or thoughts or anything else, just kind of conveyed to you, like, how they did things, or how they didn't do things, or how they dealt with life. What are those things? I think sometimes those are the best, like, little crumbs of knowledge that our moms have left us in our lifetime. And I hope you have lots of them. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.